Have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie You People?
Yes,
You saw that?
I did see it. Yeah,
You
I
was
thought it
you
was.
you was fucking with it?
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. Because they literally touched on all of the different topics and areas of intense contention when people have these discussions, right? I always, not to sound crass, but I've always loved the whole debate between like who was oppressed more when it came to the Holocaust and Black people and slavery.
So the
They
competition of
touched on that as well
what
at
they
the
call
dinner table. Like you
oppression.
remember when Eddie Murphy was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
like oppression
are you
Olympics.
trying to, yeah, he was like, are you trying to compare the, it wasn't Neil Long that said that. I can't remember which one of them said that, but I think one of them actually said that question, like, are you trying to compare the Holocaust to like slavery? And when I hear people debate those two things, and it's kind of like, but more so debate the oppression part, um, I always find it interesting. I always find it kind of funny, but interesting at the same time because it's like, yo, like I think the point is that there was, I think both parties, if we want to call them that, um, were were oppressed to the point of death,
Right.
and
No, I was just saying sometimes it's so that's what the term oppression Olympics is about, and it's kind of
yeah, I heard that
um
many times. Yeah,
it's kind of and it's something that you don't want to do. You don't want to engage in that, because it's
right.
minimalizing somebody else's
Mm.
struggle to make yours seem more important or more
Yeah,
worthy of
and
conversation.
that's what I was getting at. It's kind of like, why are we why do we seek to do this? Like it's, I again, so that's what I was getting at. Like, why do people even engage in that to see whose struggle was worse? It's like, yo, like we really got to get off of that. Like we know what happened and we talk about it, we discuss it, and we understand that there's that it's traumatic for many people generations down the line. Um, but it's like it's always strange to me that people hang on to that though. And to me personally, I think that's annoying because we've come so far, right? It's kind of like, are you not at very least grateful for the progress that we made since then? Like, why are we still
Oh, you
doing
kind
this?
of you kind of
So
went to a different point there. You're talking about the
yeah,
difference
but
between the
that's
two
why. Yeah,
cultures,
exactly.
and then
Two cultures, yeah, like, but that's why it annoys me specifically. Like, it's kind of like, yo, like, there's so much progress that's been made since then. Why are we
so
still
I
doing this? Like,
yeah, but I mean, uh, you can walk. People can walk and chew gum at the same time.
they can, they
It's
can.
like
I'm
I
not.
can I can know the
Mm,
history and can be honest to the
mm,
struggle of people that look like me and how they were living in their
mm,
time, and at the
mm,
same time recognize that, at least this ain't 1950. You know
mm.
what I mean, or at least
Yeah.
this ain't 1812 or something. So yeah, there's both things you can do, but overall I thought that movie was trash.
You thought it was trash,
I
really?
thought it was
I don't know.
garbage.
I thought it was
Hot
okay.
flames. It was
Oh,
so lazy. It was so
okay.
lazy. All the
So
things that you talked about, all
as a movie, I would say I think, okay, as a film, as a movie, I understand your point. I
what's any other point? We were talking about the movie
I
itself.
definitely
Just
understand
like,
your point.
yeah,
Yeah. Go
there's
ahead. Go ahead. Go
there's
ahead.
no way that you have an ensemble cast, right? You got like
Yeah.
a bunch of
Excellent
people,
cast.
you know,
Excellent cast.
and these are some stars. Eddie Murphy's back on
Yeah.
the rise. You know what I mean? Since the past 4 or 5 years, we've been
Mm-hmm.
seeing him more and stuff. You got Jonah Hill, who he could pretty much do whatever project he wants in Hollywood now. He's been in everything, and so they are. What's the main lady?
Lauren London.
Lauren London. You're right. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, she's
And
not an A-lister. She
she's not an
cool. She's
A-lister, but she's got
okay.
a big following and everything, dog.
Yeah, yeah. She got a big
And
following. That's
and
the thing. Yeah.
dude, it was just like it was just a it was just they just put a bunch of stuff together and be like, hey, there's a bunch of stuff people like and a bunch of stuff people to be talking about.
Yep.
Boom,
And we're gonna put in one movie.
there's your movie,
That's
and
the
that's
movie.
it.
Yep.
That was the
That's
effort.
exactly what it is.
They
Yep.
put a bunch of tropes in there. They put the
Yep.
conversations
A lot of tropes.
that were like, okay, yeah, okay, all right, guess who's coming to dinner, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're bringing a person of a different culture to dinner, or into this interaction between our our regular family, whatever it is. And so it's like, okay, that's been done. And then, oh, will they? Won't they? You know what I mean? Oh, the marriage is in jeopardy. Are they going to get married? You know, and so it's like
they threw a little bit of sneaker culture in
look,
there.
yeah. Hey, oh my God, the freaking hype beast of the whole thing.
That I'm not gonna lie, that
movie.
I'm not gonna lie, that annoyed me a little bit too, because I was like, coming from the sneaker culture I grew up in, I was like, come on, y'all.
Oh, hype beast, and they would like zoom in on some like mundane product. You know, what
it
I mean,
was
the
big
product
hype
placement
beast.
was just like all in your
big hype beast
face.
energy.
It was just so It was just so
it was I was like
manufactured, and that's what it was. It all looked manufactured the
really
entire
rushed.
way.
It seemed really rushed.
And I don't think it was. I don't know if it was rushed because this thing apparently was done back in 2020. They had this been out for years.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because they were
not
talking.
Been out,
they were
but
saying
I mean,
a year.
This been filmed years ago, and they had whatever editing time. They had plenty of editing time and all that kind of stuff. So to put it together, or even reshoot scenes after the pandemic, because it might have been tough to film during the pandemic. But Lauren London was a terrible actress in this role. She might be a great person. I don't know the lady. I don't know her work otherwise, but her acting was abysmal. I didn't believe her. I didn't believe she was in love with Jonah Hill at any point of that movie.
Absolutely not.
Believe this
absolutely
character.
Is what I mean. Yeah.
This character, Amira, is in love with Jonah Hill. I didn't feel it the entire time.
Yeah,
it was like
it wasn't
as I was watching, I was like, I'm watching an actress doing acting. doing acting. And she was not good at that role. She was not convincing at all. Jonah Hill laid it on a little too thick. All the lines were like obvious low-hanging fruit, you know, the punchlines and stuff like that. And it was just that, you know what I'm saying? You know what that movie was?
Do you think are you okay? Let me ask you this though. Do you think it was more so the optics?
No, because we can have those conversations about interracial couples and stuff like that. You can do those things. You can it looked. If you want to have that conversation, just like have some clever writing. Like the thing is like bad writing when you hear it, because you know good writing when you hear some good writing. You're like, dang, this scene I was mesmerized. You know what I mean? The delivery was great. You know it when you see it, and so it's jarring when it's like bad. It's like, yo, was there another writer's strike in the middle of this movie or something? Or did the director get did he catch COVID or something and y'all just let Jonah Hill take over or something? You just know it when it's not good. And you know what? No, it's not. The director was freaking Kenya Barris.
Right? Okay. I'm not really familiar with that person.
Kenya Barris. You did Blackish.
Oh, okay. So little context on that. I saw Blackish a little bit. I didn't follow that show like that. So I've heard the name before, but I wasn't really too familiar with the director.
Kenya Barris.
I like Blackish. I did like Blackish.
I like Blackish.
As far as the episodes that I saw,
I think a lot of that was on the charisma of Tracy Ellis Ross and Anthony Anderson, and those kids. Marissa. And watching them grow up through the years and stuff like that. And so those actresses and actors in Blackish really carried it, right? Even though I feel like they really carried it, and they made either the delivery better or they must have changed some lines up something, because everything else I see Kenya Barris does, if he's writing, his shit is corny.
Okay.
Outside Blackish, that shit.
How can you tell he's writing rather than?
I don't know if he's writing or not, but I know like certain projects, I'm looking and he's directing. I'm like, that was bad writing. I see another project like, that was bad writing. I'm like, what's the common denominator? Is this dude?
But this is the thing though,
like in terms of like good writing, which is Blackish. But I think that may be the actors.
Okay. Okay, no, that's fair. I think that's fair. I think you're being a little hard on this movie, and this is my reasoning why. So, well, obviously one, your background, but number two, understanding the type of movie that it is. Were you really expecting much? Like when I saw the trailers, I mean, me personally, how about you go? You can't even contain yourself.
I'm going right there with you.
Yeah, I already know. Like, all I'm saying is my expectations wasn't high. Out the gate, it wasn't high. Anyways, when I saw the trailers, I was like, all right, this seems like a little cool movie. I'll just watch when I'm bored or something like that. But I didn't have like high expectations like I had with like, what's that movie? The Irishman. Like The Irishman, I had very high expectations and it delivered, and it obviously delivered because it was nominated for an Oscar. So it obviously delivered, right?
But why? What was it about that made you?
The Irishman. Like, well, I'm a fan of like the Goodfellas, Sopranos. I love those type of things. So also
kind of movies. Yeah,
those mobster kind of movies. So by default, I was already interested. But then when I saw the storyline that they were going with, I was like, dang, I don't think anybody has ever addressed that storyline where like what happens to mobsters as they start to age out. Like nobody never really addressed it.
They usually die too soon.
Exactly, that too. And that's what made it funny, because it's like they usually die out, but like, what about the mobsters that don't?
Yeah,
like what happens to them?
But that CGI was just bad.
The CGI was kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie, the CGI was kind of crazy.
De-aging,
like Robert De Niro when he was younger.
I don't believe you, my guy. You know what I mean? Because it's
but you know
body that's kind of bent over entire shoe. Struggling.
But the acting was so good and the storyline was so compelling. Like you kind of like you let it slide because you were like, I'm just gonna, like, you see it, he's kind of like, I see that, but I'm gonna ignore it so I can continue to watch this movie. That's kind of how I felt with The Irishman. But I was saying that to say, like, my expectation was already not high with this movie. And like I was looking at it, I kind of also felt like it was Eddie Murphy's way of just like, this is a warm-up movie for me. Yeah, getting a check, getting a check, and just kind of like getting his feet wet. You know what I'm saying? Just like I'm gonna just warm up a little bit. And I think it was kind of the same way with Jonah Hill too. Jonah was like, I'm gonna do some stuff here.
I'm gonna tell you like this,
because Jonah Hill has had some like really good like performances.
He's had good performances. That's fine. This one I
feel like he was a throwaway for him.
So you can't. I mean, I can't see you being somebody like, if you put in your resume on the table as an actor, you're gonna put this in your top 5. Any of those actors gonna be like, yo, I've done 30 movies. And it's gonna make my top 5 movies. Hell no, we're not gonna see
it's a check. It's a check, like you said.
But Meet the Fockers was a great movie.
It was a pretty good movie.
This could have been that. So this is what I'm saying. You're talking about, my expectations for what kind of movie, and this is like, no, you saw the poster and the trailer for Meet the Fockers. Like, okay, damn it, I guess we're just De Niro fans.
Yeah, apparently.
But you see the trailer and you saw the posters and stuff like that, and so you can still be like, oh, this is gonna be a funny movie. Your expectations can still be high. You're not gonna say it's gonna be an Oscar nominee. I'm not saying go nominate Meet the Fockers for anything like that, but it could be nominated for best comedy if that's a category. But this movie could have been that. It could have done that. And, it could have had like some smart jokes in there. I might have laughed once or twice. And one of those might have been a smart joke. The other one might have been just some fart joke that somebody made that I chuckled, whatever. It just became homework after a while watching. It was just so cringeworthy. I didn't care for it all. So with that said, I looked it up just to remind to see what the world is saying.
Oh, about
Rotten Tomatoes gives that bit 42%.
Dang.
IMDb is a 5.5.
Wow.
Okay. 5.5, and on Metacritic it's 50. And so this is a
it's an average regular movie. Like, it ain't nothing. And that's honestly,
no, that's that's a terrible movie.
No, but what I'm saying
is, hold on, here's the audience rating. Audience gave it 36%. Son.
Okay, yes, that's bad. That's bad. Yeah.
It's not often that Rotten Tomato score and the audience score is the same.
It's pretty closely aligned.
Pretty close like that.
Yeah, that's not often. You're right about that. So that means it was like overall, it was a pretty bad movie. I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought it was okay. Like it's not something I would rewatch or anything like that. I just thought it was just a regular thing. I watched it because I was bored one day, not because I wanted to see it. Like, I was like, all right, I'll just watch it. I got some time. Like that's how I saw the movie, pretty much.
Yeah. So if I would have paid the movie theater to go see that bit, I think I would have walked out.
Absolutely.
I would have walked out. I'd have been like,
absolutely.
This is dumb. I'd have been like, man, that should have been on Netflix.
Yeah.